I want you to think about a dream that you've let go of, a goal that you decide not to take, a risk that you abandoned. Now, I want you to think about the reason why you abandoned it. The practical reason, the mature reason, the I'm not being realistic reason, the I can't afford it, I can't afford to fail. Now, these responses sound reasonable, okay? They sound like the response of someone who's had experience with this, who's done everything, don't they? But let me tell you something. This is not realism, okay? This is fear that's being covered up by a respectable mask. Today, we're going to be talking about how we cover up our anxiety as wisdom and how to tell the difference between genuine realism and fear that's been ruining your life. Okay, let's understand how fear works. Fear is an emotion, okay? It makes you feel uncomfortable. It's hard to sit with, right? You get sweaty palms, your heart starts to race, you start to overthink, right? And our mind does this thing where it starts to make excuses for us. Now, instead of you saying, I'm scared that I'm gonna fail, right? You probably say something like, it's probably not gonna work out anyways. Instead of you saying, I'm scared that they're gonna reject me, your brain would probably say something like, I'm just protecting my peace. And instead of saying, I'm not good enough, you'd probably say something like, I'm just being reasonable with my abilities. The problem with this is that it works well, okay? It works too well to the point that you believe your own story. And you think that you're being practical, but you're actually being paralyzed by the story. The thing is that true realism doesn't make you smaller. Okay, true realism means that you assess the risk and move forward either way. But fear disguised as realism, on the other hand, convinces you to stay exactly where you are. Realism says that, this is hard, but I'm going to try anyways. Fear says, this is hard and I'm going to fail. Let's name what you lose in this fake realism because the cost is not small. You lose the chance to be wrong in the right direction. Okay, what if your realistic opinion or thought might actually be wrong? What if it actually works out? Okay, what if you can actually do it? But if you don't do it, then you guaranteed failure. By you trying, you at least create some small possibility of you actually succeeding. You lose the person you can become. Okay, every risk you take, every decision, every choice you make, it all adds up to the person you become, right? So if you're constantly abandoning decisions, abandoning choices, abandoning risk, everything, it shapes you into someone smaller, into someone more fearful and scared. You lose your capacity for courage, okay? Courage is a muscle, okay? Every time you choose the realistic path, then the risky path, you weaken that muscle. And over time, you become weak and you're too scared to actually take risks. You're too scared to go out in the world and do your own thing because, you're just trying to be realistic. You mistake familiarity for truth. Your fear feels true because it's familiar, okay? The word I can't or you can't has been with you for years, for decades. It's been with you since the day you were born, okay? It's constantly telling you that, I can't do this, I can't do that. It's been rehearsed again and again and again. It sounds convincing, but familiarity is not the truth, okay? Just because something feels familiar does not mean it's the truth. Okay, so how do you actually tell the difference between genuine wisdom and fear disguised as wisdom? Ask what's the evidence, okay? Realism is always backed up with data, evidence, and everything, okay? But fear is just backed up on your emotions, okay? So when you ask yourself, what's the evidence to this? And all you have to say is just your anxiety, then it's just fear. And when I mean evidence, I do not mean, past failed experiments or something, because those are in the past. I'm talking about actual relevant evidence right now. Ask, what would I tell a friend? Okay, let's say someone you know, a family member, a friend, someone you love has the same dream, would you tell them to give up and be realistic, or would you tell them to keep on going? The voice you often use on yourself is more harsher than the voice you use on others, so try using the more kinder voice on yourself. Ask, is this protecting me or shrinking me? Okay, real wisdom, okay, it protects you from any sort of harm. Ask, what is the worst thing that can happen? Fear often over-exaggerates things, okay? It makes things sound 10 times more worse. So I want you to write down the worst case scenario, and if it's survivable, then your realism is just fear. Ask yourself, what if I'm wrong about this being unrealistic? What if your realistic assessment was wrong? What if it could actually work out and you could succeed very well? Okay, so what does real, genuine realism look like? It looks courageous, okay? You could say, oh, this might not work out, okay? I might fail terribly in this. But if I go in and do this experience with open eyes, I could actually learn a thing or two from this. Genuine wisdom, okay? Oh, I can assess all these risks and I can prepare for when it actually happens, but I will still continue to move forward even with that uncertainty. True realism means taking the next step, not because you think it will work, but because staying still and staying the same is not an option. The difference is in the action, okay? Fear makes you stay still. It makes you the exact same. While genuine wisdom, it moves forward, okay? Even without the guarantee of success, it still moves forward because there could be a possibility of actually succeeding. So here's your invitation. Next time when you hear yourself saying, oh, I'm just being realistic, I want you to pause and think, am I really being realistic, or is this just fear? And be honest, okay? Fear is normal, okay? There's nothing to be ashamed about. It's all about being human, right? But the only difference is your action, okay? Are you gonna let fear ruin your life, get in the way of everything, or are you gonna proceed even with that uncertainty feeling? What's one dream that you've dismissed as unrealistic? Tell me in the comments below, and subscribe for more ways to rebuild your life.